to GuitarControl.com. My name is Robert. Hope you're all doing great today. So today, what do we have for you? Well, we are going to focus on getting faster chord changes. Just minimizing that movement from our left hand when we're going to, switching chords and all that stuff. A lot of times, if we're not paying attention, we waste a lot of movement, which in turn costs us speed. So we want to be able to, change comfortably. Now, it doesn't need to be like lightning fast, but the point of changing chords quickly is you get to the chord quicker and you don't have such like a jerky movement when you're trying to like last minute change to the chord or something like that. This is a great way to kind of like cut down on that. It might slow you down a little bit at first, but the outcome will be much quicker chord changes. So I have a few chord progressions here and that we're going to kick things off with. And if you would like tabs for this to get all your chords and all that good stuff, we'll go ahead and get that link down below in the description. And other than that, let's get going. Alright, so here's our first chord progression. Now we're going to be going from a G major, I'm using the 4-finger version of a G, to a C9, then to a D major, back to our C9, back to G. Now, like I said, it's very, very common if you're a beginner. Don't feel bad about this, but a lot of times they go like this, and they take all their fingers off, and go like that. So if you are a person who's doing that, don't worry, it just takes a little bit of practice and you will be out of that habit right away. So we're going to do our G major, which is 3rd fret on the low E string with your middle finger, 2nd fret on the A with your pointer finger, open D, open G, take your ring finger and put it 3rd fret on the B, and take your pinky and add it 3rd fret on the high E. So that is a G major. And what we're going to do is we're going to play that one and we're going to transition to kind of like the rock and roll version of a C9. So, C add 9 I should say, sorry. So all we're going to do is have our chord. Now these two fingers, our pinky and ring finger, stay exactly where they are. What we're going to do is take our pointer finger and middle finger and simply hop them down the strings, but we're not going to go like this. I'm just going to simply slide them across the strings. See how I just kind of like simply hopped them down? I actually never left the fingerboard. I left my fingers, they're still touching the strings a little bit, just kind of went down. You should always try to remain as close to the fingerboard as you can. And that's going to get us to our C9 chord now. So let's go back to our G and add some strumming. Okay, simple down, 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 down. Now what I'm doing is I'm cutting the chord kind of in half. I'm going like lower part of the chord, higher part of the chord. And let's do it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Transition to C9. Now one thing I'm doing when I'm strumming here is I'm playing the C9, but if you notice, I'm kind of overshooting the string a little bit with my middle finger. Why I'm doing that is because then I'm touching the low E string and I'm muting it. So basically, you might hear it right now, but if I strum it and hit it, you can't even tell that I hit that string. It's because it's muted and the strings that are open and ringing out are much louder. So what it does is it lets me focus more on just like the rhythm and groove versus like, oh, I can't hit that low E string. So, because it wouldn't sound very good with that low E on the top. So we went to the C9. Now when we go to the D major, it's a little bit of a different story. So this one requires us to remove 3 fingers. So only thing that's going to stay is our ring finger, because that note we need for our D major chord. But we don't need to go like this. We're just going to go C9. You simply pick up your middle finger. It goes to the high E string. You drop your pointer finger down a string and your pinky goes up. So watch the transition. Not going. We don't want any of that. We want a very slow, controlled, and smooth transition. Notice when I go back to it, it's the exact same thing. And one thing to keep in mind is I basically follow kind of like an order of operations. Almost like the first one is first. So when I go to this D chord, I need to make sure that I'm playing this D string open, which luckily buys me a little bit of time to get my fingers down. So I'm just like this, and you notice when I transition, my fingers are falling down in place. So this finger's moving, this finger's already down where it needs to be, pinky's up, middle finger's down. So I needed to make sure that I have these fingers in place to play that D chord. So let's do the same strum pattern 4 times each. That's our first chord progression. Alright, so let's move on to our second one. Now we're going to keep the strumming the same because this isn't so much about strumming, but about controlling the movement of our hand. And we're going to do a chord that is dreaded and feared from guitar players all over the world, an F major chord. Okay, followed by a C major, and then G major. Now if this G major looks kind of funky to you, it's the same chord we were playing before, only slightly different. So let's go ahead and start with this F major chord. So what I'm doing is I'm barring the first fret on the high E and the B with my index finger. Take your middle finger and it's going to go to 2nd fret on the G, and your ring finger is going to go to 3rd fret on the D. Okay, so you have that much done. That's our F major chord. So we're going to do 4 strums. Next chord is going to be our C major. So all we have to do is do what we kind of did before, but the reverse. So before when we went from the G to the C, we just kind of drug our fingers down and hopped down to the next string. Well, now we're going to do the same thing, but kind of just going up. So we have these 2 fingers need to go up a string, boom, boom. And our pointer finger just simply goes from barring the high E string to leaving the high E string open, but still 1st fret on that B. So we have F, then we shift up, C major. Next, we're going to go to our G major chord. Now this one, we're going to again take these 2 fingers, move them up a string, boom, 2nd fret on the A, boom, 3rd fret low E. Pointer finger, we don't need that guy anymore, but we're going to need our pinky to go to 3rd fret on the high E string, so we have no E notes in a G major chord. So there's our G major. And watch how easy these movements are. F, C, G, C, it gives me a very confident and controlled approach to Okay, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Like I said, it's a simple little thing that gets overlooked all the time in guitar players. So I hope you dug it. Make sure you get those tabs, and I will see you all next time.